I have an issue in in my house. There is a stranger cat stuck in the rooftop, and I don't know how to get this cat down because it's like they're snug comfortably there and they're not moving. And I'm like, well, this is a house cat. Probably the nails is cut and because it just rained and this cat cannot go down by themselves. And I'm like, I don't know how to get this one off of my roof. And I'm like, it's really troublesome to look at because I know the feeling of having your cat not coming home. And I'm like, the owner probably going to look for you. So how are you going to get down? I think like this cat is a female, and because every cat in my house is female, and whenever they get territorial, it's probably because the other cat, the stranger cat, is also a female. My guess, which is my top guess, and I just don't know how to get this cat down. Maybe like when she is hungry, she will get down by herself, but I don't know. Because I have my cat when she was sick and she's stuck in one of the balcony, like on the top of your window. There is something like a shade to cover the window so it's not getting any hotter. And she was stuck there, and I tried to help her, but because it was too tall for me to too far, too tall, whatever it is, just I can't reach her, and eventually she's stuck there for a few hours until my dad grab some ladder and pick her up from that space. And thought I think it will be the same with this, but I don't know about this cat at all. Is she sick? Is she scared? Because my cat was hissing really bad at her. And I'm like, I don't know how to get her out of my house. And this is like one of those moments where my house is drenched with cat footsteps. So they thought the stranger or maybe like stray cats thought like this house is friendly. But I am the one who's not friendly with this other cats because if it's a male, it will piss everywhere. If it's a female, it will not be peaceful in the house because they will hissing each other. And I'm like, this is not good. And I don't know if I can pick her up. If I get bitten or something, there's so many possibility of how it happen, how it would happen, how it will happen, how it will go. So I'm just really in a bind with this cat. But that's not something that I want to talk about today. Today, I actually want to talk about a really foundational thing that I am using in order to help myself and also help my clients is that sometimes in the story of your moment, like the progress of the story of your moment, there are times, there are little intricate details that you catch on, and you eventually understand that this means this. And the signs is actually will get you into understanding of how well things will go. But sometimes we are not in a space to count that in because we are deep in our own ambition, we are deep in our own ego, and doing it opposite of that. Not knowing, while knowing that there are signs that say this will not go like how we want it, will just be out of the order. You just never took it in. And I was never I've never been this type of person. I always see the sign, and that's why like I never get into a really relationship knowing that it will not end well. no matter what well means. Maybe like there are there is a guy that is like showing that type of interest to me, but I know that this person actually have different need, and I'm not in the space of accepting other people. So I just straight in your face feel cold, feels cold to begin with, because I know that we are not going to get together. I don't even know if I want to be with you. So because I never have the space to begin with. So I just being cold. And I always been that person who understand the intricate details of every single moments that say will it lead into a good outcome or a bad outcome. If it's like just a small detail of a bad outcome, I would not take it. Well, this is like have a plus and minus in a relationship building, because if you understand that you have a potential, you probably would look over what is available in your now because you believe in the potential. But I have never been that person, because I can see the future timeline, and I know what is mm, the highest timeline for this person, and I always trust myself in that regard. And it's always been hard for me to start a relationship knowing that it will not end well. And I have told many of my friends to stay away from certain people because they have certain things that will happen in their time that is not good. And the good thing is that my friends listen to me, and it is happened the way I said it. And it's not great to have this kind of prophecy skill. It's just that sometimes you are in a space where you are so sensitive, which is my thing. You are so sensitive of this type of detail, intricate things, that you would take it in account of everything. It's such a dilemma for me to start a relationship, and I think if there are things that I can't hold, I would just like stay away, knowing that it is over my limit, and I would never be the person who would strangle myself to get the relationship, the kind of relationship that I want. And that's just who I am. So intricate details of the moment is like, this person is manipulative. This person wants something else. This person, this moment leads into this thing that I don't like, but because it will lead into something that will get what I want, I will probably just put up with it. And I'm like, I'm not that person. So that is the intricate details. There are something about your identity, there's something about standard, there's something like how you picture your reality, if it's like fitting into the vision, if it's fitting to the idea or the imagination of what you want. You probably would look, well, you need to take that in as a sign that it is not, it probably not, if it is probably not the best type of experience you would take, you would get. So it's better to just stay away. But there are people who see the signs and still go for it. And it is not favorable sign to whatever it is that you have in mind. And I'm currently like deep into this dating scene, and I'm just, I don't know, like I'm not really into the dating side. I'm not into like this dating shows, but because I just want to open my mind and just like start experiencing that type of things more, I get into seeing like, well, you have seen the details, but why did you look over it? Meaning that in a relationship, in dating, there are certain types of connection that sometimes feels one-sided. And other people would say like, well, just go for it. Maybe the other person would change when they are in a relationship and they fall in love with you. I would say like, well, then date then, not now, right? But also like there are type of people who would date in regards the other person likes them or not. If the person just say yes, and they will enter the dating stage. But then would you see yourself in such a picture where you are putting an effort to let other people liking you? And I have really bind a really uh disproportion. No, not, I just don't like that idea to begin with, because it's like, why do you need to earn someone else's love if you can just feel mutual about it? Maybe the other person needs some steps. Maybe the other person needs, there are so many reasons, but I'm just not that person. So that's what like my ideal dating relationship would be like. I come into a mutual understanding that we are want this together, and we're gonna do this together. And that's like the ideal relationship for me. But of course, there are some exception in the story, and I have done that myself. But I come to the conclusion that that type of relationship would be a lot more fulfilling and less lonely to begin with, because I've done so many other type of relationship that just took me as the one who set the tone in relationship, and it was so hard because the other person would not get on board with the idea, and I would be the one who's working hard to have the type of relationship that I want, and eventually I just get tired and I end the relationship altogether. That's usually how it goes. So I have a really dramatic, really colorful relationship list to begin with, and I'm like, it is not a good idea to have that kind of relationship. But I was in the moment of experimenting, and that's what I got. But the thing about the details is that you see it, you found it, you feel it. But at one time, you just so fixated about your future, about your dream, but the idea of your future, and you just never, you just ignore it altogether, and it's really hard to get yourself out from the situation when it eventually knock you to realize, this is actually not the kind of thing that I want. Damn. I think like I heard someone said it's better to cut a tree when they are small than they are than when they are already big, because when it's big, then you got to cut it more fiercely, and it's really hard, it's really effortful, and you can't really have that flawless end to that relationship. I don't know where I heard that, but I heard it from someone, mom, and that person told that story, and that just it just stuck in my mind. And it's true. If you have so many history about the relationship itself, it will be really difficult because you already invested your soul into that relationship to begin with. And if you are so sincere, that is even worse, honestly. And I have those moments too, when I'm so sincere in my expression and other people just take it for granted, and they were starting gaslighting me into, well, this is what you got, this is what you got, and I'm just like, okay, it's my fault. Again, it's my fault. Let's just end it here. And I'm like, and we ended there. Thankfully, the other person is not so hang up on the relationship, and we just ended really well. But I did have a hard time after the relationship itself because there is nothing wrong with our relationship, but there are some say behind whatever this person's doing with other people that just catch my eyes, and I'm just like, I don't know if I want to deal with this type of rumors or this reality, so I'm just going to stay away. And we did staying away for a long time. Yeah, so what is your relationship with catching the details? Are you the type who ignore all of that, or are you the one who's taking it in? And I think like depend on the context and depending on what is the capacity and skill that you have, you can you can insist to stay in a relationship and build it until it get into the point that you dream of, or you just let it go altogether. So it's really, I understand it's depend on what type of things, but according to whatever circumstances you're in, where do you land on this? Because I'm currently like, I'm going to do whatever it takes to have this thing. And this is like the first time, I think. Yeah, this is the second time. The first time is actually about my cat. Because I used to have like so many cats, stray cats that live in the house, but I have never taken care of them. And then one day I took care of them, and then it just become really annoying because then my dad, my mom start making words about it, and I'm like, yeah, you can't actually taking care of them. And then when I have some incident about them. Some of them were dead, some of them were really sick, some of them were run away and then coming back and all that stuff. And I just got so tired of not having something to take care in the house. So when I eventually have the resolution to, I want to take care of my cats, no matter how long they are living with me, I want them to stay in the house and I take care of them. And that's why, like, I have the freaking 8 cats living in the house because of that resolution, and I still have the dedication to take care of them really well. So that's paid off. So the second thing that I did that I still like, no matter, I don't care what it takes for me to get this. I want to have it no matter how long it would take me. And this thing was about my business. I don't know how long it would take me, but I would still try in my best effort to get to build it until it has some influence that I have envisioned. That's part of the resolution, and it's a relationship within myself but also with the world. So this type of relationship is really not about my family and all that stuff. It's just about myself. So I'm really enjoying it, actually, building this business in a way that I want it to build based on the pace that I am willing to give and also the capacity that I have. So it's been fun. And that's been like the two things that I am stubbornly willing to give my effort and time to create that thing. Other things, so I was like, this is not worth it. This is not worth it. So I'm really good at cutting cords. Like, I don't care about how good everything else, how good is like 10 wins and one lose, and then that's enough for me to cut things. I don't fucking care about the wins. I just don't like the lose, so I just cut it off. And that's usually where I am in the story. My friend really bad at taking their shit, I cut them off. This friend is not really good at navigating our shared connection. I'm cutting them off. This study is not really like benefit me for the future, I cut it off. This thing is not, it's not great for the sustainability of it, then I cut it off. I'm really good at that. So I'm struggling more in this kind of get it and do it until I get it. It's really like I'm struggling on that. But I'm trying to have some things memorable that I have such a really long hate and love relationship with it. One is my cat, and now it's my business. So yeah, I wonder like what do you have? Where do you lays in you? Where do you land on this? Because it's really different on aspect. It's really different on things that you value in life. And I personally value my cat and my business to begin with. And I think like the third one will be like my dating life. It's weird to call it dating life because it's not about the person, it's about the connection itself. So I don't know how we will go, but eventually when I get into it, it will probably look like I am looking for someone who can build the type of relationship that I want. If that person is not it, then I will cut them off. Because the thing that is very precious for me is the connection itself that can sustain me and also like beneficial for the other parts. That's just who I am. So I don't know where you at. Let me know in the comment if you sit, if you land on any of this. So yeah, I'll see you tomorrow.